Welcome to the FNO InsureTech podcast, a place where movers and shakers from all points within the insurance ecosystem gather and discuss all things InsureTech. Here are your hosts, Lee Boyd and Rob Beller.
Hey, podcast world, welcome to an honest to God, true, I'm not making this up, special edition of FNO InsureTech. Wouldn't you agree, Lee, that this is a special edition?
It is our most special one to date, I believe.
Why would you say that?
Well, it's a big number. Today we hit a big number, a milestone.
Go ahead, you say it.
This is our 300th episode of FNO InsureTech.
Amazing.
It never would happen, they said. Never would happen.
Nope, they said it will never last.
It couldn't last. It wouldn't happen. We also said maybe 10. We'd be lucky if we could have 10. We'd be lucky if we could have 5.
Yeah.
And here we are 7+ years later. Just this network has been created around this podcast. The web has been drawn across the insurance industry with the different connections in fact, I just got off the phone with somebody I never would have talked to, but I talked to him because of the podcast.
Really?
It's a biggie. Today's a biggie.
Really? Yeah, I think for both Lee and I, we have to start any conversation about the podcast, about its history, about its current situation, any of it, with an incredible thank you to anybody who's had the patience and stamina to listen to this. And I know because the podcast world is a big world with lots of content. And if you choose to listen to this, we're super grateful. And that's really kind of why we've done it all along, is to engage listeners. And here we are, 7 years later.
Here we are.
7 years? Is it 7? Yeah.
That's what I read in the notes.
Yeah. Well, then it must be true.
It must be true. I mean, 7 years. Think about 7 years, what we've been through.
Wow.
We started as a different company.
Yep.
There was a global pandemic.
Yep.
You're kind of retired.
Yep.
Like, we've traveled the world.
Yep.
We've talked to people in multiple countries.
We've changed presidents twice.
We have seen and done and heard and talked to so many different people and seen so many places. It's amazing whenever you stop to think about how this little thing of, I don't know, when we start a podcast. Let's just start a podcast.
Let's just take a second. If you've been with us for a long time, you've probably heard this before, but we'll just run through it quickly. So 2018, we're working for 470 claims, Lee and I, and I'm having a conversation one day with our friend John Keishel. Shout out to John. And we're talking about being an influencer. And he's working for McCann Worldwide, one of the biggest advertising agencies in the world, and they're trying to get their arms around influencers and what this is all about. And I mean, we can see how much influencers have come up in the last 7 years. And
you were floored by the world of influencers. You were taken back.
Even today, I can't get over it. I was reading about an influencer just this morning who's a Gen Z trend spotter. I swear to you, that is
awesome.
That's their, and so anyways, we kind of thought, wow, can we do something like this? And can we brand Lee? Can we make Lee this little shy, timid, I'm not making that up. Quiet guy, smart guy who prefers to be alone in a corner than in front of a group of people. True?
Yeah. True.
We make him into an influencer. And Matt Fothery, our CEO, and I, so we started talking about it. And Matt generally does not like the idea. I think primarily because it doesn't star him, right? Anyways, we decide that I will join Lee as the co-host of this thing.
Right. And
we just start. And I think our first recording we did the whole thing, and then somebody closed their browser and we lost the recording. Isn't that right?
Well, remember the first one was done on our iPhone. We just opened up the microphone app.
Yes.
Set it on the desk.
Yes.
And we just started that way. We didn't have microphones. I would say we weren't prepared, but we're equally as not prepared today as we were then.
Yeah. Not much has changed in that regard.
But it was how ironic. One of the first guests that we had was John Hall.
One of our first guests.
Who at the time, we were not working with or for John Hall.
No.
And all these years later, John Hall is the CEO of Alacrity. And now that's where we are. Like, talk about kind of a full circle right there.
Yeah, John, a longtime good friend then and now. And John was CEO of Credit Services Incorporated, ASI. He sold his business to Alacrity. He was working at Alacrity, and he agreed to be one of our first guests, as did Dan Moore. And
Dan was number one, right?
Dan, I think, was our first one. Dan Moore.
Yeah.
John Hall.
Thank you, Dan.
Caribou Honig.
Out of the blue, Caribou was like, yeah, I'll do that.
And that Goldberg guy who had Specs, was that the name of his company?
Yes. He has his own podcast now on basketball.
Yeah, he's a big basketball guy now. And anyways, that's how we started. And we thought, okay,
he's the guy who closes his browser.
We've got 4.
Yeah.
If we could get 10, that would be unbelievable. And here we are at 300.
Yeah. And it just kept happening. And if you think about it, like, it was never easy. Someone asked me the other day about the podcast, and I said, the podcast has never been easy. And it's very important to know, like, I don't do anything with the podcast.
That's very important to know. Let's put credit where credit is due. I just show up.
I mean, I think I've brought 4 guests to the podcast. Like, I just show up. But keeping a podcast together is hard. I mean, it's just, there's so much mental effort involved. But there's never been a podcast that we did that I didn't say, that was worth it. That was, even the bad ones, I enjoyed.
Well, we've had some bad ones. Out of
300s,
there's been a few. We won't mention names because we're far too kind. But there's been some bad ones, and some of that is on us. Sure. When we have
a lot of it's on us.
When we have
it's not that one guy, but
Lee just said that he thinks he's brought 4 of the 300 guests. I think that's a little generous. It might be closer to 1, but
I think I bet in all reality, I don't know, 10.
I don't know. Fine. I'll be generous and say, yes, Lee, you've brought 10. That means 290 you didn't bring.
We each have our strength, Rob.
But it's always been, it continues to be an intriguing thing to me that anybody would listen to it, right? And it continues to be intriguing that, well, let me say this. The primary wonderful thing that Lee and I have gotten out of being on this podcast is what, Lee?
Relationships.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we have met and are friendly with more than 300 people, because many podcasts have been 2 or 3 people, that we've been able to meet and get to know so many interesting people who really are honestly movers and shakers in the InsureTech world. Big names, little names you've never heard of, names like Goldberg. I'm blanking on his first name. He's not even in InsureTech anymore, right?
Right. I think this weekend I was sitting in my car. So last week I was sick. I was very, very ill. I had not been that sick in a long time. And something occurred where one of our longtime friends from the podcast found out I wasn't feeling well. And over the weekend I got a text just checking on me. letting me know that she'd been praying for me and was just hoping I was feeling better. And I looked at my wife and I said, I am so lucky that I've gotten to know so many people, wonderful people in this industry, and people who I always use the flat tire analogy. Like, if I'm driving through a city and I get a flat tire, do I have anybody that I could call? And like, there are people I could call who would pick me up, and who would take care of me. And I found those people through this world of insurance, of technology, through this podcast. It's not just names; it's relationships, and we've made real relationships.
I think the remarkable thing is the quality of the people that we've gotten to know, and which is reflective of, honestly, the quality of the people that are in the insurance industry. I mean, it's not an industry of dogs eating dogs. It's very helpful and positive, and people wanting to help you get a leg up. And you helping other people to get a leg up. It's just a very positive environment. And so to watch it grow. And one of the wonderful things for me, as Lee said, I'm semi-retired, to see younger people, many, many, many younger people, high quality, intelligent people, join the insurance industry and make great contributions. It continues to be a very pleasant place to work. It's a pleasant place to work. Very low amount of conflict and trouble.
Yeah. And it always seems like a place that people can compete friendly, right? People are always competing, but you can still be friends. Very rarely do you have, people let you down. Like, you can compete with friends.
Yes.
It's just, to kind of put a bow on that, it's just been a blessing. I also think not only have we made relationships, we've been able to see our guests do great things. And we've been able to see our guests move into different industries. And somebody who came to mind I exchanged an email with last week was Robin Roberson. When we first met Robin, all those years ago, she was the founder of We Go Look.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And she's gone on a couple of different, unique, interesting journeys.
Yes.
And now she's over here at InsureTech, changing the world. And I can't sing her name loud enough, right? The journeys that we've seen our guests go on is very exciting. And we've been so fortunate to watch them. And like you said, Brett, his name's Brett Goldberg, right? He's no longer in the industry. He's doing great things. We've interviewed a number of people who are no longer around, but we've also interviewed quite a few people who saw some very healthy exits.
Yes.
And are doing some even better things in the industry now at new companies, or, parent companies are the ones who acquired them.
Yeah. When I think about a specific turning point and person, I think of Asaf Wand, who, as far as I know, his involvement in the insurance industry is not anywhere like it used to be, if at all.
Right. Right.
I believe Asaf is in Israel now. I could be wrong. But he helped us learn something. And that is, when we started, we thought, oh, do you think there's any way in the world that this person would say yes to being on the podcast, or that person would say yes? Or wait, here's the biggest fantasy of all, because this is how hot the whole hippo idea was at the time. Do you think we could get Asaf Wand to be on our podcast? Well, I kind of took it as my personal mission to find him and to reach out. And I don't remember exactly how I found him, but he said yes immediately, right?
He did.
He said yes immediately. And I remember when we had him on the podcast, I believe it was during COVID, and he had gone to his office. However it worked, he was kind, he was generous. Here was this guy who was on the main stage at every insurance or insurance technology or InsureTech conference that was happening. He was the big name, and he made time to talk to us. And that episode, not surprisingly, also took off. And when that took off, that really moved our podcast onto a different level. It made it, I think it gave us a legitimacy that we had hoped to get. And, but it taught us both something, and that is that the insurance industry is filled with generous people. And how many times have we been said no to, no, I won't be on your podcast?
I mean, one-ish.
A few times.
Even that person came around eventually.
I had a CEO of a big public company say no to me because he's the CEO of a big public company and he didn't want to be recorded on podcast. That was fine.
Yeah.
And we had one other person say no, who then became a yes, and a very good episode.
It was a great episode. It was a great episode.
And
I, thinking about Asaf also taught us to go out and just do it. Just ask, right?
Yeah.
At that moment when we got Asaf, we had the biggest of the big. There was nobody bigger than Asaf Wan in the InsureTech industry at that time. Walking through the expos in his hippo shirt, he was a legend. Mm-hmm. And once we had him, we could go after anybody.
Right. And it gave us a lot of confidence. And that was great. And then it really took off. I mean, we've had many people from Hippo on.
Oh, yeah. Rick's been on 4 or 5 times.
And so many people. I mean, Robin Roberson, she was an amazing get for us. I mean, she was like, to us, she was a big deal. No pun intended. And
she was awesome to get.
Yeah.
And one of my very favorite people to see at events nowadays.
One of my favorite F&O InsureTech stories, though, happened in Miami, Florida.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We're in Miami, Florida. Might not have been Miami, actually, but it was Florida. And there's a party. I'm at a conference, and it's the middle night, the party night. The organizing group had put on a party. It's on a boat. And we're cruising in a harbor. And there's hundreds, maybe 500, 600, 700 people on the boat. And I'm standing there. I think I was alone. And somebody walks up to me and says, "Excuse me, are you Rob Beller?" And I said, "Yes, I am." And she starts to tell me what an enormous fan she is of F&O InsureTech. And she starts to rattle off episodes and rattle off insights and rattle off guests. And that was Astrid Maval Bahari.
Astrid, yes.
Our groupie. And Astrid was the one who really helped me to understand that, wow, there's actually people that listen to this stupid thing.
Yeah. Astrid, I would say Astrid is probably the most, and this would not be unfair to say, she has been one of the most pivotal people in my life, not just for the podcast, but just a force in my life. She is one of the most positive people, but you want to be your best when Astrid's around.
Yeah.
When Astrid's listening to a podcast, you want to be your best. Because when I'm thinking on one level, she's thinking on a whole nother level. And she has always encouraged me to be great. Never has told me that, just her presence. But I do have a great story of Astrid. Astrid, one of the most sentimental stories I'll never forget. We had a death in my family.
Yes.
And we were not able to travel. Rob and I were going to be traveling to a conference overseas. We weren't able to travel. And out of the blue, she had visited with you, and she wrote me a note and said, "Lee, I just left the Notre Dame Cathedral in France, and I lit a candle for you and your family." And you can't, that's amazing. When someone goes into Notre Dame and lights a candle on your behalf. That was a real pivotal moment for me. But she has elevated our podcast, not just by listening, but by recommendations, right? By sending us amazing people. And a lot of times she's like, hey, I want to know more about this person. Why don't you have them on your podcast? I would say that she has been one of our biggest blessings out of this whole thing.
Yeah. I mean, first of all, she's brilliant, right?
Brilliant.
I mean, Stanford undergrad, I believe, Harvard MBA. She's just brilliant. And to have her...
And nobody knows the industry like Astrid. Nobody.
No. Her strategic mind is amazing.
Yeah.
And a shout out to Astrid. And
yes.
And of course, the invitation is always open for you to join us.
Yes.
Just say when.
Yes.
So what makes a good podcast and what makes a bad podcast?
Man, that's a good question.
I'll chime in on the bad podcast.
I'll tell you what makes a good podcast.
Yeah.
A good podcast is when you make that little spark at the beginning with somebody and they're at ease and they no longer think that they're on a podcast.
So you mean before we start?
Yeah, a lot of our magic is having the pre-talk, just the chit-chat, the put you at ease. But the second you're on a podcast with a guest and they forget that they're on a podcast.
Yeah.
That's what makes them great.
That's cool.
Their barriers go down. They're open. They're using some hand signals, right? Their nonverbals are there. It's a whole game changer in the world of podcast. And then you can really have good conversation. And I also like to say the ping pong, right? A ping pong gives us a good podcast. We're going to ask you some stuff. You're going to give it back to us. We're going to keep going back and forth. If it's just a one-way street, question, answer, that's not as much fun.
Mm-hmm.
What makes a bad podcast, Rob?
Well, one of my favorite stories is the guest we had on that we asked one question.
Not we. You asked one question.
All together, both hosts combined asked
one
question. And this
nearly an hour.
This guest talked for nearly an hour from then and talked in such a way that it kind of kept...
There was no break.
There was no break. And and that was an older one. And so our technology was such that to have someone stop and then to have to go through the editing to fix all that was something that we didn't want to have to do. So that was a remarkable episode. But that is, these are lessons that we've learned that, brevity matters.
Brevity matters.
And on a podcast, people don't want to listen to you talk usually, depending who you are. Maybe if you're, Brad Pitt, that's one thing. But our guests, they want to hear an answer that's brief. I think that our podcasts generally, we try to keep them shorter than, as time goes on, we try to keep them shorter and shorter to make the most out of people's time. But one of the things that really matters is listen to the question, answer it as concisely as you can. And it's something that we still struggle with because often, as you know, when we meet somebody and we talk to them, it's a conversation like you and I are having. But once you get them on the podcast and they feel like their
numbers are counting down and
like they're being interviewed, the answers can become very long. And and also, like you said, we call it chit chat. The chit chat that we have at the beginning before we hit the record switch is critical because it makes it warm.
Yeah, it does. And the other thing that makes a great podcast is when we find that story, because everyone's got a story. Everyone has something that either they know is interesting or they don't know, but there's a story in there. And the second that we can pull that story out, that's that's when podcast magic can happen. It's not always just about the technology or the company or whatever. A lot of times it's about the story. And I think that's been a biggie for us.
Okay. What about topics? Topics have changed a lot, right? I mean, today it's interesting how the podcast mirrors, as it should, and this isn't a surprise now that I say it, but it mirrors what's going on in the technology world, right?
That would be true.
And
That
so
would be true.
7 years ago, I don't particularly remember the tech that we were talking about then.
I do.
What? Go.
APIs.
API. It was
about
Caribou's big thing.
Oh, it was huge. It was the connected ecosystem, and it was the API. The API is going to change the world. We're going to connect data through these digital tunnels through APIs. Yes, that is exactly what we talked about back then. And without that step, you could have never progressed. You first had to have the data.
What and today, as if I need to ask,
today there's this little thing called artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
Right? Agentic intelligence. There's we have gone from connecting data to working with our own data, to allowing machines to tell us what we should be looking at within the data. And the conversations have followed, as you said, technology, where the invention of the large language model has brought us down. And now there's not a podcast that happens where we don't talk about AI. And there are all the people who are like, well, I was doing AI before AI was cool.
Yeah.
But now sitting on top, building these frameworks on top of these large language models, everyone is so much better. And everyone's almost having to redo what they did with the newest technologies. And that's not what a lot of them aren't talking about that. But the technology that people are using today is not what they had 5 years ago. They've had to sunset some of that stuff.
Yeah.
And it's almost a brand new company.
Yeah.
And that's very interesting.
Yeah.
That's something nobody really talks about.
Yeah. I mean, we've heard all about pivots.
Lots of pivots.
Very, very common situation. We were doing this, but now we're doing that.
Yeah.
Or we were doing this and we thought it would fit into this area, but it actually turns out that it fits better into that area. That's always an interesting thing. And we always really enjoyed the whole startup aspect of it.
We love that.
That's kind of how it started, how we started was talking with people about their startup. And as time is going on, I think there's still just as many startups as there's ever been.
Absolutely, there is. Absolutely.
But people were talking.
They seem bigger though, don't they? Don't they seem bigger? Like the startups were like, oh, we're an API company and we connect your data to their data. And now it's like, oh, we're solving the problems of the entire world. Like the startups just seem bigger now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But they're still there.
They're still there. And we've seen them work and we've seen them not work.
Yeah.
We've seen exits. I mean, I was thinking about one the other day, Ryan Cotton Stecky.
Bob Frady. And near map guys.
Robin Roberson. We've seen, we've seen many exits, some of them. And one of the common things is those people don't stay away.
No, they
don't take their money and run.
Yeah. And one of the early lessons we learned is that you had a lot of technology people come into the space and they were going to solve all of our problems.
Right.
And then we learned, we would have them back on the podcast a year later and like, oh, can I have my insurance person on? We hired someone who knows insurance. We'd like to bring them on now because they all learned it's a different world. It's a different game. It moves differently. And that was one of the lessons is that if you're going to be a startup, have an insurance person with you.
This is a Tracy Tompkins thing, right? Remember Tracy? And she was really big on this. That wasn't that long ago. That's within the last year that we had her on. But that, I think, is the number one thing that we've seen is that, remember we used to ask, are you a technology company?
Are you technology?
Or are you an insurance company? And it was unanimous that they were all technology companies. Now they've changed that answer.
It was cooler.
Anyway, the point is that insurance is different.
Yeah.
And most of these companies will now answer that question. They'll say, we're a technology company that serves the insurance industry or something like that.
Yeah.
And I think that that's a fair answer. But I mean, we do talk to some InsureTechs that work in a number of different verticals, right?
Right.
But the one thing that they have in common, if we're talking to them about insurance, they're also telling us about the people that they have on staff who are insurance people.
Yes.
It's just too hard to try to work in the insurance world and not have insurance people around. That's been, I think, one of the most fundamental changes.
Yeah, that's been a big fundamental change.
Yeah.
Well, Rob, here we are, man.
Yes, Lee.
We're at the end of our 300th episode. We've jibber-jabbered. We've yammered on and on. We thought back on the past. What do we got to look forward to in the future, man? Is this thing going to keep on going?
Well, some of those answers are up to you and me, and some of those answers are up to others, right?
True.
The one thank you that we have to say right now is thank you, Alacrity Solutions, for supporting us, for sponsoring us and supporting us all these years. Their generosity has been super important to be able to do this. In fact, without that, we wouldn't be here. So if you want to send a thank you note to anybody, send it to Alacrity.
There you go.
But yeah, I mean, at our current pace, it would take us about 2 years to do.
Yeah, we do
100 more.
We think moving forward, we'll have some guest hosts come on.
Yeah.
As we know, Rob's time has gotten a little bit freer. My time has gotten a little less free, and so not to disappoint the world, we'll probably keep on going with some podcasts, and we'll bring in some guest hosts. That'll be exciting times. We have a person in mind right now who I think everyone's going to love.
Yeah.
An up and coming influencer in the space.
Yep.
I'm excited about that one.
Yep, that's true. He is.
And then I know we'll have some amazing guests, right? We'll look back and we'll say, remember when we thought a soft wand was the ceiling? Like, we're going to see some new guests.
Yes.
It's going to be amazing. We're going to get some big names.
Yeah. And if you are a regular listener, thank you.
Thank you.
Don't leave.
Couldn't do without them.
We'll continue to bring the quality that we've been bringing for years. And if we can make it to 400, I think that at number 400, we could say we can sign off. What do you think?
We did it. Yeah.
We did it. We made it to 400.
Yeah, we could say that.
Anyways, like Lee said, it's a lot of work. It's a labor of love. There, no ifs, ands, or buts. I mean, yes, we've gotten some swag from it, haven't we? Full disclosure, we have gotten some swag, but it's been a lot of work and a labor of love. And thank you for joining us along the way. And we'll say to you what we say every single time when we leave.
Goodbye, everybody.